I want to be Blackbeard Taika version.
The leather vest, leather pants with the like low slung belt and just like all the studs. I was like, yes, thank you. This is what I needed.
Let's just say it how it is. He looks fucking sexy.
He does. He looks so sexy. Like,
it's so good.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume Blogcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I'm Captain Spencer Beard. Avast, mateys.
Ahoy, Spencer.
What's up, Elizabeth?
Oh, nothing much. I started Book of Boba Fett.
Ooh.
Everything's too expensive, but you know.
The Book of Boba Fett is such a great show. You and I are going to be talking about it pretty soon. Wink, wink. So I'm very excited for that.
I know. I'm super excited for that. For whatever reason, it's like the only Disney show for like Marvel or Star Wars that's come out so far that I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this. But one episode 2 or 3. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is cool, but what is going on?
It's good stuff. I was at Disneyland this weekend. And
yeah, you were.
I was walking around and they had like a Book of Boba Fett little like throne to go like meet Boba Fett. I ran over there with Chloe and Daniel. I brought Daniel with me. And he wasn't there. I was like, where is Boba Fett?
No. Should we go again in October?
Yes. I was getting ready to shake an employee. I was like, where is he? I need a picture.
That'll get you thrown in Disney jail, Spencer.
I mean, everyone has to experience Disney jail once in their life, I think.
Do you?
I don't know. It's probably nice when you think about it.
Oh my gosh, did you see the proposal that Disney employee totally ruined?
I saw that. That was very cringe.
I was like, that is tragic.
Yeah. I didn't even read into it. I just didn't want to know. I'm like, this is just going to ruin my afternoon, so I'm just going to skip over this video.
I mean, it sounds like Disney like apologized to them.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So I'm like, okay, cool. On with our day. I was just shocked. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Disney really kicked my ass, though. I'm sitting on a couch right now. I basically am just, I can't move. I'm very sore. My feet hurt.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We should go to Disney, the two of us, because we both know Avisha's not gonna come with us. And we'll Uber to and from. We'll get there right when it opens. And let's just leave right when it closes.
Yeah, wait, why do we have to Uber? Are we planning on having a couple drinks?
Yeah. Whatever that Pim drink looked good.
Yeah, the Ant-Man little restaurant they have, their drinks are out of this world. It is so good. Pricey. You know, it's like $17 a drink. But it's
Disney in California.
That's what you pay for. You know, so good. I'm becoming a Disney adult. It's really sad. I mean, all I could think about now is going to Disneyland.
I know. But, like, there are worse things.
Right.
We could be sports fans.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so sorry, Daniel. Cut that out. I'm sorry. If you like sports, I'm very happy for you.
No. I'm just having a quarter life crisis, and it could be worse. I could buy, like, a stupid car or something, or I could become a pirate.
I know, because Spencer, what did we watch this week?
This week, Elizabeth got me to finish Our Flag Bean's Death, and I'm so glad she did. Yes. It was so good.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about this. Spencer, would you like a summary?
I thought the summary was hilarious. It just came from IMDb, but I thought it was so full of humor that I was like, I'm going to keep it. The year is 1717. Wealthy landowner Stede Bonnet has a midlife crisis and decides to blow up his cushy life to become a pirate. It does not go well. And that is the summary.
That's literally it. So let's go behind the wardrobe. We have series creator David Jenkins and costume designer Christine Wada.
Yay!
Our favorite girl. You'll know her from Bridesmaids, Pixels, Zombieland Double Tap, and Loki.
Loki. We loved her costumes on Loki. That was way back in season 1 when we talked about that show, and that was one of my favorite episodes. So
that is one of my favorite episodes too, because we just had so many good interviews. She really talked about it. Unlike this show. So there are 0 behind the wardrobe facts. I don't know. I'd love to interview her about this series, but we're just going to talk about each episode. What do you think, Spencer?
I think, 1, this is a call out to Christine Wada. We want to bring you on the podcast and talk about this, Loki, everything. We're obsessed with you. And 2, I'm ready to jump into this. I freaking love pirates. I love Taika Waititi. This is everything.
Yes.
It's Pride Month.
Yeah. That was the last thing I did not expect that from this series. And I was just Stede and Blackbeard.
I love it.
I was very upset by the end of this.
Yes. Let's take a break and get our cannonballs ready.
Get your cannonballs, get your rum, and get right back.
Ooh, rum. Good idea. What's up, costume nerds? This is Spencer, co-host and producer of the Art of Costume Blogcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We greatly appreciate all the support. If you want to continue in your support, you can become a costume maven at patreon.com/theartofcostume. There we post unheard bloopers, highlights, and bonus episodes for our costume mavens. You can even chat with other listeners and vote on future episodes. Head over to patreon.com/theartofcostume and subscribe now.
Are you ready to talk pirates?
I'm always ready to talk pirates. You and I have talked about this before, but I used to always want to be a pirate, and honestly, I still do. This show didn't help.
Yeah. This is the kind of pirate I would want to be. I would want to be part of Stede Bonnet's crew. Everybody, we're talking about episode 1, the pilot. An aristocrat turned pirate. Stede is put to the test when his crew threatens to mutiny, and they encounter his old schoolmate.
It's such a good first episode. I was dying when they were doing their arts and crafts little flag crafting session. It's so funny.
My gosh, it's so amazing. And it's Stede's wardrobe, though. You're obviously this man is not a professional pirate. It's so 18th century, early 1700s, to a T, in just the most obnoxious colors.
Right. To me, it's because Stede reads a lot, he's always had this idea of what pirating is like, and this is probably how he imagined their costumes to be, very frilly, very extravagant, and of course that's not the case. So this is his impression of what a pirate would look like, and it doesn't match well.
Absolutely. This first teal number he has on, I'm Stede, you're gorgeous. However,
it's a beautiful costume.
It's beautiful. And Rhys Darby, he knows how to use the costume in this series.
Yes.
It is really funny.
It's all about the hand movements with those big old frilly cuffs. He just really wears it so well.
He does. His crew, though.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh. They all look so filthy compared to him.
Right.
They all look so filthy.
But they're also like such recognizable like pirate costumes though, you know? Like I knew exactly what kind of crew this was. They're like not that serious of pirates. They're like okay pirates. They're just kind of like they remind me a little bit of Peter Pan type pirates a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. Very traditional, very just like run-of-the-mill pirates. I do feel like Christine, she has like given it this whole series has a like rock and roll vibe to it.
Yeah.
Which she definitely like infused into their wardrobe too. A lot of them have like the cut off sleeves.
Oh yeah.
Or like very loose neckties and like little frills, which I love that she did.
And to that point, especially when we get to Blackbeard's crew, like they're very rock and roll. I mean,
very rock and roll.
They're essentially goth pirates. But there's so many like fun characters. First of all, this was like a Game of Thrones reunion,
right?
We have Wee John, who is played by one of our favorites, Hodor, Christian Nairn. Such a cool guy. And then Joel Fry, who plays Frenchie, who is also from Game of Thrones. So
yes, I saw him and I was like, what are you doing here?
It was nice actually, because I've had such a like we hated his character in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
so
we did.
Nice to see him in a role that I didn't absolutely hate, you know?
Well, he's also in he's in Cruella too.
Right. Forgot that.
Yeah. Wow. I love his performance. Just made no impression there, I guess.
You know, my favorite character was the dog.
That's true. Well, okay. Do you want to know who I thought your favorite character would be?
Who?
The bird.
I love the bird. The bird. When the bird was speaking to... Oh, gosh. I don't even know that character's name. When that character was speaking to
Buttons?
the bird. Buttons. Yeah, that was so... funny.
Buttons was one of my favorite crew members. Do you want to know who my favorite crew member was, though?
I do.
Who, like, you don't even notice them at first. Jim.
Jim is hilarious.
Like, Jim's getup, especially, like, it never changes. It never changes. Even after you find out, like, he's a woman, doesn't change. But, like, the hat with the false beard and nose, it's just like...
It's so bad.
It's so crazy.
So, I watched the show once, like, a couple months ago. I watched through, like, 5 episodes, but I was doing other things at the same time. And, like, I wasn't paying attention. Elizabeth wanted to do the show, and I was like, oh, I didn't think it was that funny. I wasn't paying attention. And so we went back, and I just rewatched the whole thing, and I loved it. And the first time around, I didn't notice Jim's disguise. It's so obvious when you actually pay attention. Like, it's essentially like those glasses with the fake nose and mustache on it. It's so obvious.
Yeah, and we were literally just talking about it, but Vico Ortez, who they play Jim, and like I'm obsessed with them now.
Yeah, they are amazing. I've never heard of them before, but I just want to know everything now. They must have an Instagram.
Oh, their Instagram's amazing, and I believe they are on. Oh gosh, what show? Hold on, give me a second. Oh, The Sex Lives of College Girls, which I had zero interest in watching before. Anyways,
Vika did an amazing job, and I'm excited to see the rest of Jim's role in this show.
I know. Who I wasn't excited to see was Admiral Chansey Badminton. At least I think that's who, or was it? Is that his brother? Or
I don't know.
They're played by the same actor. It's Roy Kinnear.
Right. I love like how the English are portrayed in this. It has that very like Hamilton state of mind where it's just like all the British characters are just inherently evil and they suck.
Well, considering the time. No. And I love because I'm like the British Navy, I feel like just from the little I know, it's very accurate. It's just a little like cartoon. Like I feel like she cartoonified it a little bit, but like all the essential elements are like true to the period.
Right.
Which I find so funny because everything else is like outrageous and like not really true to the period.
It's just like a storybook version of the period, which is really fun. Costuming, brilliant. I love the military uniforms. And I loved when our crew had to pretend that they're like of the aristocracy, which I'm like, this is not going to work.
I that was insane because they're all like dressed up in Stede's endless wardrobe.
Right.
Like trying to look like they know what they're doing. And just like, I feel like Buttons is the only one that like almost gets away with it, but that's because he just like doesn't really care.
But it's so funny. Ewan, the actor who plays him, is just brilliant. I will never get over that strong accent that he does. It's so funny. It makes me laugh every time he opens his mouth. It's
hilarious. What wasn't so hilarious was when we get flashbacks to Stede's life before he was a pirate.
It's so dramatic.
I was like, it's so dramatic and just like grim. And I'm like, dude, like.
It's so grim. It's sad. But like even like the young Stede costumes are still like so very cute. I love the little stockings and it's just adorable.
And it's like, I love, he always has like the sleeves. Like the sleeves are always like.
He loves a frill.
He loves a frill. Oh gosh, when his dad was butchering the animal, that was, ugh. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, we're on to episode 2, A Dead Man. Stede battles his feelings of guilt while hunting for their missing hostages while on an island staycation. And Lucius makes a surprising discovery. I loved the opening with the pretend French Navy men. It's
so stupid. I hate it. I love it so much. Like, they're just so typical, like, French cartoon. Yes. One of them's holding a baguette.
Yeah, they're literally talking about bread. One of them has a beret and a striped shirt on with a red necktie. I'm like, wow, they're just really going after all the imperialist nations during this time period.
It's so dumb. I love it. Yeah, we start to slowly introduce Blackbeard, which I personally was just dying for because I just love Taika so much.
And I love Black Pete's, like, just his real life time with Blackbeard. It's like, dude, you did not ever look that cool with the red bandana and the leather vest. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it's so bad.
And we get introduced to some of Blackbeard's crew.
Which, once again, they're very, like, rock and roll, like you said. But also, I love the use of stripes in this show. They're just so ridiculous because it's so, like, when you think of pirates, for some reason, we think of stripes. And Christine Wada uses it so perfectly to be like, oh, this is a pirate. This is another pirate.
Here's a pirate right here as well. I also... I love Blackbeard's pirate, especially Fang. I feel like they're almost like Hot Topic pirates.
Yeah. they're goth pirates.
they're definitely goth pirates. I'm like, I feel like I could walk into a Hot Topic and walk out with one of their outfits.
Yes. I love Con O'Neill, who plays Izzy. He is hilarious.
Yes.
This is the same man who is in the new Batman, right? Yes, he is. I just confirmed it. That voice is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny. And it's like, I love because he's like kind of the straight man through like most of this show. Like he's not making a lot of jokes. He's like seriously reacting to everything. But it's like the way he does it is hilarious.
Yeah, he's more Blackbeard than Blackbeard. Like he's very serious about this. Someone who is not serious, Lucius's staycation outfit made me LOL. It's so stupid. He's wearing like this purple striped shirt, of course, but it's like off the shoulder because there's no laundry machine, so everything's just like wrinkly and doesn't fit on anyone.
Yes.
That's so funny.
He's great because he has like the second best wardrobe after Stede. He like changes it up the most.
Right.
Maybe because he's the only one who can read and write. But yeah, no, I love the change up, especially because he's just like wandering around the island and then he finds Jim and he's just like running for his life after that.
Yeah, because Jim will kill you. I didn't realize that you mentioned it just now, but like the crew members really don't change because they don't have clothes. You know, like that's their outfit.
That is their outfit.
Oh, so good.
Also, who doesn't get an outfit change are the people who live on the island. They're just like, what are you doing here? Please leave.
Yeah, I love how you expect them to be like super serious, but they're just like, can you just leave?
Yeah.
We don't want to kill you, but we do want you to leave, so we will if we have to. Just go.
They're like, if you're not part of the British Army or Navy, you can go. If you are, you're dead.
Such a good episode. Episode 2 is definitely one of my favorites.
It was so funny. Also funny. Episode 3, a gentleman pirate, Stede, now known as the gentleman pirate, tries to sell his hostage in the Republic of Pirates while Wande and Jim face their past.
Yeah, this is another stellar episode, like peak top tier costuming.
Yes. The all white ensembles, Stede and Lucius, that Stede makes up for the two of them. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, what does he think he's doing?
Stede is a marketing genius, you know? He knows that he has to brand himself. He's like, what would look good on Instagram as, you know, at the gentleman pirate? Like, okay, we're going to wear really nice clothes, all white, matching with my crew. Makes a lot of sense. But what I was really excited for was seeing Fred Armisen and Leslie Jones. Just so exciting.
Like, they're the first taste of that real rock and roll pirate. Like, Fred, who plays Geraldo, he's just got, like, the vest and the cutout sleeves, his necktie. And it's just like, ooh, yes, you do kind of look scary, even though, like, I've never considered Fred Armisen a, like, scary looking actor. But then, oh my gosh, her name just...
Spanish Jackie,
thank you. This velvet number she's wearing...
It's so good.
I almost died. I was like, you look incredible. Like, this is what all women pirate, like, need to wear.
I love it. She is like, this is the rock star pirate that we're talking about. Spanish Jackie has it all together. And I love that it's like so elevated. To me, it's like giving a little bit of like a Prince vibe.
Yeah.
Like pop star, rock star Prince. And like Spanish Jackie, you know, Leslie Jones plays it so perfectly. She's very hip, trendy. She's the boss, you know, sexy. Everyone's obsessed with her. How many husbands has she had? Like 14 or something?
No, it was like 20.
It's so good. It's so good. Definitely one of my favorite costumes of the entire show, hands down.
It's hilarious. And it's like, it's so... like perfect, especially because like because Stede's, you know, all in white, and so you can tell she really thought about like, okay, he needs to stand out because her like neckties are this like very pale pink and like very dirty lace, so it's like nothing's taken away from Stede except for when he's with Geraldo. And Geraldo kind of has his like white vest on to be like, yeah, Stede, I'm like you as I deliver you to the Spanish Navy.
That's so good.
Which again, I'm like, they're just taking all the like imperialist nations of the time and just making them into cartoons.
Seriously, it's like a very awful game of Civilization on a computer, which is really fun, by the way. Yeah, definitely Spanish Jackie, one of my favorite costumes of the entire series. It's top tier.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so when they were promoting the show, they kept posting pictures of Leslie Jones and Fred Armisen. You would have thought they were the main characters when this show was first announced.
Honestly, I thought they were going to be in it a lot more than they actually were. But this brings us to episode 4, Discomfort in a Married State. We see Stede's past and his doomed marriage. And we finally get to meet the infamous Blackbeard the pirate.
Finally. But before we talk about Blackbeard, we do have to mention Stede's, married life that we got a little window into. Just like top tier period costuming. I love that Christine Wada was like, oh, pirate show, great. And the director's like, not so fast. It's not all pirates.
Yes.
Like, this is a full project. So much research went into this, and all the costumes were beautiful.
Yeah, it must have. Anytime he has a flashback, it's very period appropriate. Kind of, I always feel like it's period simplified.
Right.
But very true to the period every single time, from their very awkward portrait sitting to her wedding gown, their kids. Like, everything is period appropriate, just simplified.
Right. It's all so good. It's like the colors are beautiful, the silhouettes, everything. I bet you this probably took the majority of the show, actually, I bet.
Yeah.
Because the crew members wearing all the same things the entire show. So,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Like, I would love to know if they, like, made it or, like, rented it. I want to know.
We're going to find out. Christine Wada, we're reaching out right after this.
We're reaching out. However, Spencer, as soon as I saw Stede's night getup, I was like, this is what Spencer's been waiting for his entire life. Like, this is the perfect nightgown and hat for Spencer.
I want a good nightgown, damn it. I want to wear nightgowns. Speaking of that, there's a nightgown in episode 10, I think. We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, man, that nightgown.
We will get there. But we have the introduction of Blackbeard, Taika Waititi. Oh, my gosh.
Taika looks so good. I am obsessed with this look, with the updo, the tattoos, the black leather, the shoulder piece. It's perfect from head to toe. It's so good.
Like, okay, I'm going to be honest. I didn't think this man could become any more of a silver fox. And then he did.
He is strong in this show. It is so good. And like, I want like long hair now. I want a beard. I want everything. This is what I want to be. I want to be Blackbeard Taika version.
The leather vest, leather pants with the like low slung belt and just like all the studs. I was like, yes, thank you. This is what I needed.
Let's just say it how it is. He looks fucking sexy.
He does. He looks so sexy. Like,
it's so good.
It's so good. Until Stede puts it on. And
then it ruins it. You're like, no. Gentleman pirate.
Yeah, like, no, you are no Blackbeard, Stede. This is not the look for you. However, Taika Blackbeard can also pull off Stede's look.
And it works perfectly.
It works perfectly. Oh my gosh.
Blackbeard could do no wrong.
He cannot. The like red, I don't know if it's red leather or satin, like breeches with like the open like blouse. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's flawless from head to toe. We're Blackbeard stands, if you haven't figured that out.
We're gonna have a Taika Waititi appreciation day when we're promoting this episode. All pictures of him in this very, very fine pirate outfit.
You already know.
This This also brings us, though, to episode 5. The best revenge is dressing well. Blackbeard and Stede attend a very fancy dress party.
Oh my gosh.
While Alwande and Frenchie embrace very false identities.
This episode is just amazing. I laughed the entire time, and that could only be done by like one certain person, Nick Kroll. I mean, come on. It is just so good. But before we get into it, we have an appearance from King George, which made me die. It's so funny.
He shows up twice in the series and kills it each time. He looks insane.
It's so funny, but I'm loving like this world perception of what all these British kings look like. They all just look idiotic.
Yes. And I love, because like I said, I feel like she's been taking period and then like really simplifying it to kind of fit the overall aesthetic.
Yeah.
But with King George, she goes all out. There are little pearls on his neck ruff, like just like all the like clearly all the embroidery and just everything is on King George. I also love we get to see Blackbeard's crew and Stede's crew in the same little boat while Blackbeard's giving them a pirating lesson. And the contrast is hilarious.
It is so funny. It's just like, how did Stede find all these crew members? Honestly, is what I want to know, because it's just like the biggest band of misfits. It's all over the place.
I feel like he interviewed each one and was like, I could teach him something.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's what he thought every single time. It's not making the best crew, but it's a funny crew. But they steal an invitation to a fancy French dress party on a boat.
Right.
I'm like, did this happen? Just like in the middle of the ocean. Like, I'm sure like people had fancy dress like boat parties back in the day, but like this far out into the ocean.
I know. And now I just want to be on a fancy dress boat party.
Right. Right.
Especially if Blackbeard is walking around in purple velvet with little purple bows in his beard. I mean, stop it.
Like,
this costume, it's
I
Christine
feel like
Wada, you're getting an Emmy, at least a nomination. Like, come on.
If not, we won't do anything, but we'll be mad about it.
Yeah, I'll speak to someone's manager. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. But I love Blackbeard because I feel like it was really supposed to make I feel like they were trying to make him look a little bit ridiculous. But he looks like such a gentleman. Like,
yeah, he just looks smooth, and like they just slick his hair back a little bit, and you're like, wow, yeah, that really does it.
It does it. It does it. And I must say, Stede looks quite fine, and like he is like a master stylist, mixing that like beachy print with that checkered vest.
Yeah, I mean,
very nice.
Stede is a costume designer. That's really what this show is essentially about. A costume designer who becomes a costume designer pirate.
Absolutely. With all the productions they put on that ship, absolutely.
Right.
I have to say though, Frenchie and Olwande pretending to be an African prince.
Yeah.
And his advisor, that was my favorite part of the show.
Really?
Or not of the show, of this episode. That was my favorit part of this episode.
I love it because they like phrase it almost like it's like the beginning of like period schemes. Like this was the first pyramid scheme in history.
Absolutely. And it's just like every time they talked, it was just like, like people, especially back in the day, would just get those random like scam emails.
Oh yeah,
that's what each of everything they said sounded like a scam email.
So good.
But Spencer, I don't know about you, but I was so excited. Christian Shaw and Nick Kroll, when they showed up on the screen, I died.
I remember like at the time I was like on my phone or something and I heard Nick Kroll's French accent and I immediately stopped everything I was doing and I was like, wow, it is him. It is the comedy king. He is hilarious. Nick Kroll could play any character. He is so funny.
Any character. And Kristen Shaw, I was like, she was so funny. But then like her hair. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, that hair suited her perfectly, but was so outrageous. It was so outrageous.
It's so good.
I was like, this can't get better than that hair. And then you see her sitting down, and each side of her skirt, the panniers must be 3 feet on each side.
She literally looks like she has a coffee table underneath there. It's so good.
She does. It was so funny. And just like the front of her dress looks like it's covered in brooches.
Right. I mean, this needs to be the episode that's like sent to the Television Academy for the Emmy nomination.
Yes.
The costumes are just outrageous. There are so many of them. Just watching the entire episode, you're looking around to each of like the party guest costumes. All flawless.
All flawless. I especially liked the chicken. The guy dressed up as a chicken. That was a personal favorite of mine.
Yes. I'll just never get this image of Nick Kroll with that white makeup out of my head. That's going to live with me. It's so good.
As it should. Oh, but Spencer, are you ready for a little rest time on the high seas?
Yeah, let's go get into our boat and take a little break. Have some chicken sandwiches on our boat.
Yeah, have some chicken sandwiches. Get an orange.
Ooh,
don't want to get scurvy.
Definitely some oranges.
We'll be right back. Hello, Blogcast listeners. It's Elizabeth Joy Glass, co-host and producer of the Art of Costume Blogcast. If you're like me, you love to show your support with a comfy tee or tote bag. Well, now you're in luck and can show your support for the show and grab some sweet merch by heading over to theartofcostume.com/podstore. There you can buy some awesome TeePublic merch with the Blogcast logo, such as a shirt, sticker, tote bag, and a baby onesie for all your little costume mavens in the making. Thank you for all your support, and head over to the Art of Costume/Podstore for all our great merch. Oh, Spencer, are you ready for another adventure?
Gar. That's pirate for yes, I think.
I agree. In episode 6, the art of F****, Krey. Stede and his crew decide to put on a little bit of a spectacle for the Swedish crew they are aiming to terrify. This episode made no sense.
It's just one big production. I was a little confused on what was going on, honestly.
Yeah, but I loved it. I was like, I don't know what's happening. I suddenly feel very bad for Blackbeard.
Yeah.
And Stede is just ridiculous. He looks like a high school drama teacher that is just like way too into drama.
Yeah.
Like but the turtleneck.
That's the best way to explain him. He is like a high school drama teacher who became a pirate.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Stede Bonnet is a high school drama teacher who became a pirate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just that turtleneck and then him like reciting Hamlet throughout the rest of it. I was like, oh my gosh. And then we have Frenchie in that weird witches. I'm like, this is not the Wizard of Oz. Like, You look like the Wicked Witch. And then I love the theme of like cats being the most terrifying thing.
Oh yeah,
in this
yeah.
series, because then we have Wee John dressed up as a cat, I think. For his part, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
It's so funny, and everyone is terrified of cats. It's ridiculous.
Everyone is terrified, and then I think they're Swedish sailors. I'm just like, oh.
They're dressed as like pilgrims, perhaps. I don't know what that is.
I'm trying to remember where the pilgrims came from, like Sweden or Germany or something. One of those countries. They're just like, they're not having it. They're so confused.
They're confused. I was confused. I was just like, what's going on? But just, of course, it's a big production, so all the costumes are insane because this is what I was going to call him Steve. Stede Bonnet lives for.
He does. But episode 7, this is happening. A little trip to St. Augustine for some oranges reveals more about Jim's past and sends Stede and Blackbeard onto a little treasure hunt.
So this is when we're starting to pick up on a little bit of like a Stede Blackbeard kind of romance here,
which I wasn't expecting.
I wasn't expecting it either, but then once it was happening, I was like, oh wow, this is happening. I love this.
It was so adorable. And it's like Stede and Blackbeard, they're just like so classy with their tea. Like, and I was like, Blackbeard can't get much sexier. And then he's drinking his tea.
Yes, for sure. He can do no wrong.
He can do no wrong. And they're like, okay, gotta get some oranges. Let's go to St. Augustine. And Stede's like, I bought a treasure map. And everyone's like, okay, Stede, like.
Why would you buy a treasure map?
Yeah. Everyone's like, that's not how it works. But Blackbeard's just like, let's fine. Let's go. And Stede puts on this like ridiculous like safari outfit.
Right. He looks like he's going on a jungle cruise at Disneyland.
Like the jungle cruise or like about to go like hike the outback or something. I was like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
We love to make fun of Stede, but honestly, I'm just really jealous.
Yeah. The most ridiculous part was Mother Teach. Terrifying. I've never been more afraid of a nun, except maybe the nun. Like
Valak. Yeah, she was great.
Especially throughout times, there's like a million different kinds of nuns' habits. But I love that this one is just all black. Just, it makes her look all that more intimidating when she's throwing her knives around. The nun's scariness aside, we get to a very interesting episode. Episode 8, we go way back.
I love this episode. It is so funny. It's so good.
Blackbeard's old friend shows up to create some chaos, and Jim decides to go visit Spanish Jackie.
Will Arnett plays like that trashy friend so well. It's so funny, and he looks ridiculous with that mustache. Everything's great, and his costume just says like tacky.
American. Tacky Frontiers American.
Who loves to just drink and break things all day long.
Yeah.
It's so good. And Blackbeard kind of knows it. He's like, oh no, my friend kind of sucks.
Yeah. He knows it, but then he's like falling back into his old bad habits.
Right.
But then I also love Jim and Spanish Jackie's like heart to heart.
Right, which was very surprising to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they're besties. Like, It didn't take that much to just get her back on your side.
No, I feel like Spanish Jackie is like kind of almost like, yeah, I guess he did brutally murder your father in front of you. That was like the vibe I got. She's like, okay, this makes sense.
I was so shocked when Spanish Jackie shot Fred Armisen's character too, like without even blinking. I was like, oh, okay. Well.
Right. She has husbands to spare. So, I mean.
The director's like, and that's a series wrap for Fred Armisen. Congratulations. Just like that.
Just like that. I also love her Spanish Jackie's beautiful silk blouse.
Right.
In this scene, catching all the light.
Seriously, very chic. Like, Spanish Jackie has a very fashionable taste to her.
Yeah. So fashionable, but things get a little less fashionable for Stede when facing a hanging. He and Blackbeard make the tough decision to leave their life of piracy.
Oh, it's so romantic and so beautiful.
I know. They're
One of what was not beautiful, though, was when Blackbeard had to shave his beard.
I know. I was like, you still look so handsome, but just like something's missing.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
And it's like, Stede is like rightfully shocked when he just like pops like his head under the bunk and is like, oh, hey, what's going on? It's like, yeah, you look like an entirely different person, Blackbeard.
Yeah. Even though we're so used to seeing this Taika Waititi in like real life.
Yeah.
But it was just startling.
Well, even real life Taika Waititi, he like has a little bit of stubble most of the time, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
But they get put in these terribly like dull white, greenish, beige outfits.
Yeah, it's so mean.
It's so mean. It's like, of all the things you could have done, British Navy, you couldn't, like, that you had to put them in those ugly outfits.
Well, it's kind of like one of the ultimate punishments to take, like, Stede's, like, fashion away from him, his entire wardrobe.
Now I wonder if they found his secret wardrobe.
Probably. And they probably auctioned it off and made a lot of money.
That was one of my favorite parts of this show, when he showed Blackbeard his second backup wardrobe. I was like, ooh, yes, you are my kind of man, Stede. Bonnet, a backup wardrobe.
Yeah, Blackbeard's like, this is nice.
Oh, but this also leads us to episode 10. Wherever you go, there you are. Stede tries to get his old life back. Meanwhile, a broken-hearted Blackbeard sulks.
It is so sad. I was feeling unwell watching. I'm like, this is just so sad.
It was so sad. I also felt unwell, though, when Stede walks into his wife's widow party and just ruins the mood.
I was feeling unwell until I saw Kristen Johnston.
Oh my gosh.
That red number with the eye patch and the cigarette.
Oh my gosh. She was perfect. She was perfect.
Has she ever looked as good as she did in this like moment right here? I mean,
I don't know.
That costume was sickening. I'm obsessed with it.
I loved the widow Bonnet, her whole getup, because it's very like rebel. It's like, I feel like it's very rebel-y for the time.
Yeah.
She's almost like, I'm the cool school mistress.
Oh yeah, she's stoked. She's a widow now. She has like a new boyfriend. She's a painter. Like she's like
living
that, like,
her best life.
Yeah, she has that hard edge like painter vibe at this moment.
Yeah. She's like, I got all his money and none of the responsibility.
I just realized too with like Kristen Johnston's character, for a pirate show, we only saw like one eye patch, which I thought was quite genius also. Like Christine was like, I'm not going to go for like the typical pirate look, but she used it as more like a fashion piece for this one character, and it like really landed.
It really landed. It really did. Especially considering how sketchy her character is.
You're right.
but we have Blackbeard.
Oh, he's so sad.
He's so sad.
He's emo Blackbeard, and he's going through emotions. And then we see him kind of like emerge out of it a little bit from his like depression nap. He's wearing this stunning purple raspberry like night
Raspberry,
robe.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful. I almost think it's either an embroidered or I feel like it's a velvet burnout with those designs.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think it is. And it's just so beautiful. And he's just like wants to be wrapped in one of Stede's like nightgowns. And he's just like wandering around the ship because he doesn't know what to do now. It was so sad.
It was so sad. I actually wanted to cry. It's like they took this ridiculous like pirate comedy and they like put so much like love and like attention into it. It's just, I don't know. It was just really beautiful and it really landed with me. But I'm glad that at the same time this was happening, Stede was planning this elaborate scheme where he gets massacred by did I say a jungle cat, which was then
or
he was then hit by a carriage and crushed by a falling piano. I was laughing so hard at that. It was so good.
Oh my gosh. And they just immediately like raise a toast to him like, yeah, he's dead. We didn't plan this.
Woo, it's over.
Meanwhile, Izzy Hands is taking advantage of Blackbeard's feelings and turns him back into the Blackbeard he wants him to be. Rude.
He turned him into Robert Pattinson's version of the Batman Blackbeard. We have the black eye makeup. Blackbeard's listening to some Nirvana, Something's in the Way.
Yeah. he eyebrow stenciled in his beard.
He's looking for vengeance. He is vengeance.
He is looking for vengeance. He tricks the crew. I love that he's like, okay, Arwen, I am busy.
Oh no, Arwen, we're almost done.
I love that he's like, okay, Frenchie, Jim, and Alwand, you three, yes. Everybody else, get off.
Yeah, you're staying on this island, and he just ditches them. And like things on the island go south like very fast. Like they're
very quickly.
They're trying to eat each other probably within like 2 hours because that one pirate like desperately wants to be a cannibal. He'll never admit it, but he brings it up all the time.
He's just like, if you have to be a cannibal, you have to be a cannibal. That's just how it is.
It's so stupid. But also, like, I get it, too. I'd be hungry.
I get it. And I just can't wait for season 2.
I'm so glad they announced it. They just announced it, like, not too long ago. There's more coming, and I'm very happy.
I am so happy.
Your cat is freaking out.
Yeah.
I think we're about to leave Arwen on an abandoned island.
I know, Arwen. I'm coming.
I wish I knew a pirate song to sing while Elizabeth's gone. Yeah. Oh, she's back.
All right, are you just going to sing from now on whenever I leave to take care of my cats?
Yeah, which just sounds like we're going to have to start preparing for since it's happening every episode at this point.
Oh my gosh. I told you, Arwen has just decided my room is the room for naps. Whether or not I like it.
You know what Arwen's excited for?
What?
For us to play One Costume to Rule Them All.
Hit it, Daniel! The one costume to rule them all.
Elizabeth, why don't you go first this time?
I think this is no surprise. My one costume to rule them all is Blackbeard's classic rock and roll pirate look.
It's so good. It's top tier.
It's so good. Like, okay, because I didn't talk about it enough before. The tailoring. Impeccable. The design, because that has a lot going on.
There's a lot happening.
It is perfect. The actor, the ultimate silver fox.
The shoulder piece, like it really does it for me.
Yes.
And yeah, the like fingerless gloves, just like everything about
the tattoos.
We're just like over here like nice. Blackbeard has never looked so good.
Has never looked so good. I bet he didn't look that good in real life. He definitely probably did not look that good in real life.
No way. Absolutely not.
No.
Good choice, Elizabeth. Honestly,
Thank
we
you.
had the same choice. I knew that you were going to pick this because I was also going to pick it. So I picked another Blackbeard look. It was that purple velvet number from the French party when he had the little bows in his beard. It just brought me so much joy. I'm like, Blackbeard could wear literally everything, and he looks amazing.
He can.
This little look, the bows just really did it for me. Like, I was laughing. It's just so good. I don't know. Taika Waititi deserves a little bit of an Emmy nomination for this show.
I agree.
It's just so good.
I feel like he's underrated as an actor somehow.
I don't understand it.
He made such a splash with his directing that people forget he's equally as amazing an actor.
Yeah. I mean, Thor Ragnarok, the What We Do in the Shadows movie.
Oh my gosh.
Jojo Rabbit, where he plays Hitler.
And I haven't seen that yet. I need to see that.
You have to. That is a great Taika Waititi film. And he plays Hitler, and he's still like somehow... It's just something about this man. It's just he can do no wrong.
He has like pure energy. So I follow him on Instagram, obviously, and he took his kids to Hobbiton because he's from New Zealand.
Of course.
So he took them to Hobbiton, and he's like, it was something like Dad Vacation Chronicles or something. And he was just like Instagramming himself at Hobbiton. And I was like, this is so pure. Like, why are you such an adorable human being?
I love how this episode somehow just turned into just talking about Blackbeard the entire time. Well, my fellow listeners, let me try it again. Well, our dear listeners, we have something exciting for you all. If you have lots of thoughts and feelings about your favorite costumes, want to comment on something we say, a little bit of a follow-up, we have a new feature that we're going to be starting at the Art of Costume Blogcast. You now can call in and comment on your favorite costumes by calling us at the following number, 626-515-1826. Leave us a voicemail and tell us what your one costume to rule them all was, and maybe we'll play the voicemail on future episodes.
Maybe on a future episode, maybe on a TikTok. Give us your thoughts and feelings.
We want to hear what you have to say, even though I'm pretty positive we're all in agreement on the Blackbeard look. I mean, that's just,
yes.
That was the one costume ruled them all. But if you feel the need to tell us how right we are, 626-515-1826. I will gladly listen all day long.
Tell us why we are absolutely correct for one costume to rule them all on this episode. Spencer, what are we watching next week?
Elizabeth, I am beyond excited to say that next week is our 1-year anniversary episode of the Art of Costume Blogcast.
Can you believe it? We made it a year.
I cannot believe it, honestly. I can't believe it's been a year. It went by so quickly. We've done so many great episodes. And if you all remember, if you made it through that very tragic first episode where you talked about Cruella, it was about 12 hours long, longer than the movie.
Longer than it should have been.
But if you're an OG fan and you listened to the episode, you remember that we watched the costumes were designed by Jenny Bevan. So, and she won an Oscar for it. Oscar winning. So for next week's episode, we're going to do another Oscar-winning Jenny Bevan film. Just to, full circle moment. We'll be watching Mad Max Fury Road. Yes, I'm excited. I've never watched it before. I can't believe we made it a year. No wonder I'm so exhausted. A year down. We're very excited. So please join us next week. Grab yourself a glass of champagne. We're going to celebrate together next week and really just enjoy and just celebrate 1 year of costumes. You can follow us on Instagram at the Art of Costume Blogcast or on TikTok at the Art of Costume. If you would like some more costume content, you can visit theartofcostume.com for some of our wonderful articles and interviews. And thank you so much for listening. And if there's any pirates out there that look like Blackbeard, hit us up. You heard the voicemail number.
Yeah. DM me.
See you next week.
The Art of Costume Blogcast is hosted and produced by Elizabeth Joy Glass and Spencer Williams. Our audio engineering and editing is done by Dan White. Follow us on Instagram at The Art of Costume Pod or visit theartofcostumeblogcast.com for all blogcast updates. If you want to support the show, go to theartofcostume.com/podstore. Or you can head over to patreon.com/theartofcostume for some bonus content. For more costume reviews, deep dives, and interviews, head over to theartofcostume.com, a blog dedicated to highlighting the best in costume design.
Daniel, I'm about to lay down some tracks for this Yoho pirate song. It goes a little bit something like this. I don't know the words past Yoho, Yoho, a pirate's life for me. So I Googled it. It goes, Yoho, Yoho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, plunder, we rifle and loot. Stand up, me hearties, Yoho. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot. Stand up, me hearties, Yoho.